Israel and the world. Israel and the world. The Israelists' role in the world. The foremost question is defining the relationship which holds between Israel and the rest of the world. Humanity gravitates between the teaching Torah of Israel and the philosophy science of Greece. In our usual succinct nomenclature, Torah-PaRaDiSe, Israel is religion / philosophy, Greece-DRP with civilization D, constitution R, culture P. Alternatively, as Israel is / becomes Greece-DRP with theology D, philosophy R, science P. Until and unless we get this equation straight between Israelists and Goyim, we will be nosediving, spinning, and accelerating down the black fall. Genesis 1:2. Genesis 1:2 A, B, C, D mentioned that the earth was this, that, and the other. Ha'aretz haita tohu vavohu. Ha'aretz Ha'aretz es haita / tohu de va r vohu p. What comes next? Genesis 1:2 E to H. Ve'choshech al penei tehom. Tehom is al penei / choshech DRP. Then the heavens in Genesis 1:2 I to N. Ve'ruach Elohim merachefet al penei hamayim. Elohim is ruach / merachefet D al penei R hamayim P. Comment. The interface comes with Genesis 1:2 EH and the heavens in Genesis 1:2 I to N. Genesis 1:3. Then the Creator appears in Genesis 1:3, and Elohim said, quote, "Let there be light," unquote, and there was light. Comment. Elohim is Vayomer / Yehi or D Va R Yehi or P. The narrator Moses returns from there onwards towards Genesis 1:4-5 to wrap up day 1. Genesis 1:4-5 to day 1. Genesis 1:1b to F. Created power of powers, language with the heavens and language with the earth. Genesis 1:2. And said power of powers, let there be light in the heavens, and there was light on the earth. Genesis 1:3. And saw power of powers, the language with the light was good in the heavens and on the earth. Genesis 1:4. And power of powers divided between the light in the heavens and between the dark on the earth and the darkness on the earth. And power of powers called the light in the heavens day, and called the darkness on the earth night. Genesis 1:5. And there was evening of the light in the heavens, and there was morning of darkness on earth, light in the heavens, one, darkness on earth, triad day. Comment by Elim of the power of powers, from Mika Mocha, who is like you. Disproving Messianism. This disproved that Messianism followed from the Torah. It just followed from the oral Torah, a solution to failure. Yet this doesn't impede the Creator from acting otherwise. Genesis 1:1a / Alef unfolded. In the following, the whole of Genesis 1:1a / Alef is unfolded. Genesis 1:1a / Alef. Alef / Bereshit. S / DRP. Alef S / B de Resh R E P. A / in beginning of. A S / in the beginning R of P. Now Genesis 1:1a b Alef. Alef Bereshit bara. Alef D Bereshit R bara P. A in beginning of created. A D in beginning of R created P. Genesis 1:1a b C. Bereshit bara Elohim. Bereshit D bara R D Elohim P D. In beginning of created power of powers. In beginning of DD created RD power of powers PD. Now Genesis 1:1b C D. Bara Elohim et. Ve'et. Bara DR Elohim RR et PR. Created power of powers language. Created DR power of powers RR language PR. Genesis 1:1 C D F. Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Elohim DP et hashamayim RP ve'et haaretz PP. Power of powers is language with the heavens and language with the earth. Power of powers DP, language with the heavens, RP, language with the earth, PP. Fundamental dogma. The fundamental dogma of monotheism is religion / fundamental duty, love thee, fundamental discipline, study of the law R, fundamental method, union of letter and spirit D. Authority scripture is / bishops D, deacons R, presbyters, priests B. The following is too complicated. It's in the book. Moses as spokesman. Here we relate the story of Moses accepting the task of spokesman given to him by Yod He Vav He. 1 is 2/3 DRP. Exodus 4:14-17. E 4:14. Yod He Vav He became angry with Moses and said, there is your brother Aaron the Levite. He, I know, speaks readily. Even now he is setting out to meet you, and he will be happy to see you. Comment. Moses' excuse was that he had a speech impediment. He was uncircumcised of lips. E 4:15. You shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth. I will be with you and with him as you speak and tell both of you what to do. Comment. Defines what is meant by spokesman, to put words in his mouth. E 4:16. And he shall speak for you to the people. Thus he shall serve as your spokesman, with you playing the role of God, of Elohim to him. Comment. Yod He Vav He calls Moses a spokesman. E 4:17. And take with you this rod with which you shall perform the signs. Comment. Moses is given the rod of empowerment, or he is empowered. Moses referred to as prophet. Moses as spokesman of Yod He Vav He is the prophet. Deuteronomy 18:15, 18, and 34:10. D 18:15. A prophet from your midst, from your brethren like me, shall he establish for you. Yod He Vav He your God, to him shall you listen. D 18:18. A prophet I will establish for them from among their brethren like you, and I will place my words in his mouth. He shall speak to them everything that I will command him. D 34:10. Never again did there arise in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom Yod He Vav He singled out face to face. Comment. This was probably inserted after the death of Moses. Hosea to Joshua. This treats of the name change from Hosea to Joshua. Numbers 13:8 and 16. And 13:8. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hosea son of Nun. Comment. Hosea, safe. In 13:16. Those were the names of the participants whom Moses sent to scout the land. But Moses changed the name of Hosea, son of Nun, to Joshua. Comment. Name Hosea safe changed to Yehoshua, salvation. Why Hoshua? Revelation, JEP of first 4 books S. Interpretation, the D, the 5th book, Joshua, Judges, Samuel, Kings, / inspiration, other prophets D, writings are Talmud P. Prophets. The second subdivision of the Tanakh, prophets Nevi'im, is devoted to the Hebrew prophets. A Jewish tradition was that the root Nun Bet Alef, Navi, is based on the 2-letter root Nun Bet, which denotes hollowness or openness. To receive transcendental wisdom, one must make oneself open. In this sense, adding the suffix letter Alef, A, would make it refer as open to the Creator. The word Navi is a derivative of the root verb bo. The English phonetic transliteration of bo fails to show the connection to Navi, but the Hebrew letters are consistent. The root bo means coming. Navi, preceded by the nun n as an imperfect, then is one who sees what is coming. Yom Kippur Readings. The following are some of the readings for Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement. Leviticus 18:4 and 6. L 18:4. My laws shall you observe and faithfully follow my decrees. I, Yod He Vav He, am your Elohim. Comment. I am your creator Elohim is 2/follow my decrees D, safeguard plus do R, my laws P. El 18:6. You shall keep my decrees and my laws, by the pursuit of which human beings shall live. I am Yod He Vav He. Comment. I am Yod He Vav He is live/pursue my decrees D, keep R, my laws P. Shema Yisrael, listen Israel. The following is putting the Shema in short order. Deuteronomy 6:4. Shema Yisrael, Yod He Vav He Eloheinu, Yod He Vav He Echad. Listen Israel. Yod He Vav He is our God, Yod He Vav He is one. Shema is /Yis P Ra R L D. Yod is Elo /Einu He D Vav R He P. The creator of the created creature of creation is our power of powers, Elohim. Yod is Echad /1 He D Vav R He P. The creator of the created creature of creation is the one of all. Salvation. There is no such thing as individual salvation outside of humanity. It's Adam, human, and it, Ha-Adam, the human. Genesis 1:26-27. G 1:26. And Elohim said, let us make humankind in our image, after our likeness. They shall rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the cattle, the whole earth, and all the creeping things that creep on earth. Comment. It's the, quote, let's make humanity, like humankind, that is puzzling, though the second part of, quote, in our image, after our likeness, explains it away. Yes, for how else could humankind be part of the making if its character doesn't show up in the finished product? G 1:27. And Elohim created language with a human in his image, in the image of Elohim, creating language with him, male and female, creating language with them. Comment. The key concept is understood, yet to understand it must be made explicit. Herein we're referring to the it language with. The first occurrence is first person language with, second is language with him, the last one is language with them. First person D, second person R, third person P. This is saying that Elohim is in thought is/become language DRP with subject D, verb R, object adjective P. Opening prayer. As is mentioned in our opening prayer of the Limud Torah Bible study, the charge is to engage with the words of the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, asher kitshanu bebizmotav v'tzivanu la'asok bedivrei Torah. Blessed are you, Yod He Vav He, our Elohim, sovereign of all, who hallows us with commandments, commanding us to engage with the words of Torah. Comment. The term used then was king, melech, what we today know as sovereign. The teaching. And this is the commandment in Deuteronomy 6:1. And this is the commandment, the laws and the rules that your Yod He Vav He, your power of powers, has commanded you to be observed in the land that you are about to cross into and occupy. Comment. It says HaMizvah, the commandment. Then, after a pause, continues listing the Hukim, decrees, and the Mishpatim, laws. It clearly singles it out as distinct from the remaining items. It is in the singular to denote the universal one, and not as collective noun of the 600 precepts of the sages, including the 10 sayings of Moses. The whole, the Shema Yisrael, listen Israel, explicitly states in Deuteronomy 6:4, D 6:4, listen Israel, Yod He Vav He is our Elohim, Yod He Vav He is one. Comment. It uses the commandment of paradise to decode the verse as whole and as in parts. In one whole, listen S/Israel D, Yod He Vav He our Elohim R, Yod He Vav He is one P. In triad parts, first, listen D/Is P Ra R L D. Second, Yod S/He D D Vav R He P with Yod He Vav He as Yod He Vav He. Third, Yod He Vav He S listen/here our Elohim D Israel R is one P. The triad. The Shema Yisrael, listen Israel, explicitly defines love in Deuteronomy 6:5, D 6:5. You shall love your God, Yod He Vav He, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all thine might. Comment. That is what love is, and into what it becomes. Love S/heart D soul R might P. The means. The Shema Yisrael, listen Israel, explicitly states the means and end in Deuteronomy 6:6-8, D 6:8. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Comment. The heart plays a double role as triad part in love heart D and as one whole in person heart S. D6-7. Impress them upon your children and speak of them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Comment. It pretty much covers every situation. Human being is being human 24/7. D6-8. It explicitly states the way or means of communication with the Creator in Deuteronomy 6:8. Bind them from a sign onto your hand, and there will be drippings between your eyes. Comment. It defines paradise meditation. The N. The Shema Yisrael, listen Israel, explicitly states in Deuteronomy 6:9. D6-9. And inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Comment. It commands the ends pursuit to cap it all. There's a comment for the book. Past event horizon. Israel is past the event horizon of the Black Fall, and not even a Davidic monarchy with chief rabbi can save it now. The only way to save Israel is by saving the world along with it. That is, by rebooting humanity from the baby bang. Return to the one and only holistic Torah and reject the abomination of the dualistic written and oral Torahs. Bootstrap rationality is based on consensus and complacency. The rational has headstone but lacks cornerstone. In that sense, is no better than the irrational, which makes no such heartwarming claim. It is like hanging suspended by the brush on the ceiling. Zion score. Have you ever wondered the meaning of Zionism? Zion score, like in keeping score in a match. What is Semitism paradise? Israelism S/Judaism DRP, or else Sinai S/Zion DRP. To fix what's broken, we have to restart from knowing how the parts fit to make the whole. Genesis 1:1a challenge. Start with the three options for Genesis 1:1a. Rashi combined the first three verses into one thought, Genesis 1:1-3, with when in the beginning of God's ... The second is the easy one of Genesis 1:1, as in the beginning God created. The third is ours, is Genesis 1:1a/Alef, quote, in beginning of created God, created Elohim ... Doorposts. This treats the theory of meditation and the practice of action as in Deuteronomy 6:8-9. D6:8. Bind them from a sign on your hand, and there will be drippings between your eyes. Comment. Let the principle guide your actions, and revelations will appear on your inner or third eye. D6:9. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Comment. Write on your doorposts means apply the revelations near to you and far away. Deuteronomy 11:20. Let's now compare the above version 6:9 with the following Deuteronomy 11:20. D11:20. And inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Comment. The spelling mezuzot, doorposts, differs by a vav v. The former, while the latter is mezuzot, without v and with v. Recall that singular mezuzah, doorpost, is spelled with a vav v. Let's do the gematria for the words. For mezuzot without the vav of Deuteronomy 6:9, it is 40 plus 7 plus 7 plus 6 plus 400 gives 460, gives 10, gives 1, standing for Alef A, meaning head. For mezuzot with the vav of Deuteronomy 11:20, it is 40 plus 7 plus 6 plus 7 plus 6 plus 400 gives 466, gives 16, gives 7, standing for Zayin C, meaning matok. Perhaps this is because the former occurs in the Shema Israel, while the latter appears in a practical setting. One accepted understanding derives mezuzah from the root se vav se, meaning motion or shift, describing a doorpost as a device enabling the door to move or shift, to swing. Genesis 1:1 BCD. The changes consist in including the second part of language when referring to heavens and to earth, as in Genesis 1:1 BCD. At times, will explicitly translate Elohim as power of powers. G11BCD. Bara Elohim et ve'et. Bara dr Elohim rr et ve'et pr. Created power of powers language. Created dr power of powers r language pr. Comment. Language pr unfolds as. It says language with heavens and language with the earth. Genesis 1:1. Genesis 1:1. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In beginning of created powers, language with the heavens and language with the earth. Comment. This is the literal translation of verse 1:1. Now, Genesis 1:1a / Alef. Genesis 1:1, G11a Alef. Alef / Bereshit, S / DRP. With Alef S / B D Resh R It P. A in beginning of. A S / in the beginning R of P. Comment. This is Moses' Q. Now Genesis 1:1a B Alef. Alef Bereshit bara. Alef D Bereshit R bara P. In beginning of. A in beginning of created. A D in beginning of R created P. Comment. This is without the slash, since we're omitting the Aleph A of creator S, which would require the slash to separate it from creation DRP. Genesis 1:1 ABC. Genesis G11ABC. Bereshit bara Elohim. Bereshit DD bara RD Elohim PD. In beginning of created power of powers. In beginning of DD created RD power of powers PD. Comment. This is the first three words in a row. Genesis 1:1 BCD. G11 BCD. Bara Elohim et ve'et. Bara dr Elohim rr et ve'et pr. Created power of powers language. Created dr power of powers rr language pr. Comment. These are the second, third, and fourth words. Genesis 1:1 CDF. G11 CDF. Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Elohim DP et hashamayim RP ve'et haaretz PP. Power of powers is language with the heavens and language with the earth. Power of powers DP. Language with the heavens RP. Language with the earth PP. Comment. These are the third, fourth, and fifth last word. Israel hour. The Israel hour at the JCC is a misnomer. It should be the Israel-Palestine world hour. Letotafot, from the sign. This refers to the meaning of binding from the sign onto your hand in Deuteronomy 6:8. Letotafot, from the sign. To the drippings, to the waterfall, and of course, to the water falling and dripping between the banks of the river. Jerusalem and Yerushaláyim. When does the name change from Jerusalem to Yerushaláyim? With the addition of the letter Yod. Why? Let's do the gematria to get a glimpse of what's at play herein. According to Midrash, the name is a combination of two names united by God, Yireh, the abiding place, the name given by Abraham to the place where he planned to sacrifice his son Isaac, and Shalem, place of peace, the name given by the high priest Shem. Oral Torah and Messianism. To fix a broken world, we simply have to drop the revisionism of the Oral Torah and its derivative Messianism, and thereafter be creative for a whole world by returning to the pre-beginning of the book of Moses. The cue was given then and there to each and every one of us, without further need of delegated authority for tutelage. It's all contained like a baton in a relay race consisting of the one first letter of Hebrew Aleph, A, creator, separator, / up creative / creature, followed by the one first word of creation, Bereshit, in beginning of, as in Genesis 1:1a / Alef. The Holocaust. The Holocaust brought about the nation of Israel. But the Holocaust was an atrocity. It shouldn't have happened. The world is the homeland of the Jewish people. Israel as homeland of the Jews who seem to somehow rationalize the Holocaust. The Torah is teaching. The Torah is teaching, but what is it teaching? Not the 313 precepts of the sages, not even the 10 commandments of Moses, but the one cue of the Creator. Do the gematria to convince yourself. 613 gives 6 plus 1 plus 3 equals 10, reduces to 1 plus 0 equals 1. The question is, what is it? The answer is where it is. What is it is found where it is. What is it? Where? But at the beginning. But is there a beginning? But a beginning must be out of nothing, absence. What is it? There's no answer and there's not a word to look for it. Beginning comes from nothingness, from zero infinity. The zero is denominator while infinity is numerator. As in creator slash creation slash creator of DRP slash S. Triad Elohim. Why is there an Elohim triad in Numbers 1541 and 1541? I am Yod-He, your Elohim, 2 pp, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim, 3 pp. I am Yod-He, your Elohim, 2 pp. Comment. For emphasis, Elohim appears triad times, twice in second person plural, accompanied with Yod-He, first and last, and once in third person plural by itself as a societal matter. This would then seemingly correspond in the order of appearances to first D, second R, third P. Satan's role. What is the Satan telling us? Detecting and exhibiting the contradiction, the impediment, and pointing in the direction of the way out. The Satan helps us in our quest as Israel of the one who struggles with the divine and with men and prevails. The role of Satan is post-political analysis of Jewish democracy. It is also post-philosophical synthesis of Zion Israel. It is at the level of paradise Kabbalogy. Israel exceptionalism. The existence of the Torah makes Israel exceptional. It can no longer be an ordinary nation state. This is much like the tribe of Levi, which were not assigned any real estate property in the promised land. Rather, they were to be spread out to serve the remaining 11 tribes to keep the Torah. No, you cannot have it both ways of Zionism. Success and loss. The success of the IDF in Israel fuels anti-Semitism and anti-Israelism in the diaspora. Their gains are everybody else's losses. Limud Torah session. All proportions kept, but it finds comparison with Martin Luther's nailing his 2 main statements of the inquiries at the bishop's door. His 95 theses, which propounded 2 central beliefs, sparked the Protestant Reformation. These were that the Bible is the central religious authority and that humans may reach salvation only by their faith and not by their deeds. The bootstrap conjecture of opinion is king prevailed until the equivalent steady-state hypothesis was debunked by the Big Bang Theory. Origin of the word Torah. What is the origin of the word Torah in the Hebrew Bible? There are 32 appearances of the word Torah or HaTorah in the Pentateuch. In 11 of these, it is a common noun signifying law or rule in general, without specific reference to the Torah. In the other 21, the word refers to the Torah, once in Exodus and 20 times in Deuteronomy. Text and context. Why can't we understand today the text of the Torah written in a different context? Because we're missing the code of translation for interpretation. Case in point is the wayward son in Deuteronomy 21, 18-22. The moral is to fear Yod-He Eloheinu. The code or cue is not a solution but the solution. This is exemplified variously as not tying an ox with an ass in working the land or not combining linen with wool. It is its way of rejecting mono/dualism and giving us the hint as to the answer of uni/triadism. The language of the Torah is universally valid, yet written in the context of a nomadic and pre-agricultural archaic society some 3,000 years ago. About the author. Ricardo Turullols-Bonilla studied physics at UT Austin, mathematical physics at Imperial College London, graduate philosophy at the UNAM Mexico City, MBA at U Iberoamericana Mexico City, and studied Kabbalogy on his own in Austin. This last one proves that there is no need for tutelage to the Torah, which is always open to the heart. His books are found at Amazon and his videos at YouTube plus podcasts elsewhere. Amazon, YouTube, and podcasts. Title: Friends of Dialogue. Subtitle: The Quest of Keeping the Heart, A Philosophy of Practice, 2005. Title, Dialogue of Friends. Subtitle, Making Sense of the Human Spirit, A Practice of Philosophy, 2005. Title, Triads. The subtitle, The Pre-Socratic Origins of Dialogical Science, 2012. PaRaDiSeism. Subtitle, Human Science 101, 2016. Title, The Principle of World Caring. Subtitle, Peace by Wholeness, 2019. Title, Saving Creation, The Baby Bang of Paradise Civilization, 2022. Title, The Sweet Spot. On the subtitle, On the Obvious, All Revealing Yet Hiding in Plain View, 2023. Videos at YouTube, books at Amazon. Yours truly, Ricardo and G.D. Bless.